Howdy, beautiful Bart here, and welcome. Yeah, we have a camera. Alright, so, I know it's kind of dark, but whatever. It's been a rough week or two. But I'm somewhat here. You know, I've been having some health issues and trying to get to where I can get a little bit of sleep so that I can actually get some work done. In between the weather changing back and forth and joys of getting older, prostate issues, love it. Yeah, it's been a rough couple of weeks, but I'm starting to get a little bit of my focus back. Not much, but a little bit. I'm getting better, so let's dig right on in here. Nasty shit. Good at first, but then the last part of it really has a nasty bite to it. It'll be tonight's first drink of choice, Orange Crush. Love it. But it was mixed with Alka-Seltzer cold formula because, yeah, because reasons. Alright, so, again, total work in progress, but I want to show you what I've got so far. And I've rewritten this about 14 times, and let's go ahead and exit game and we'll play this in standalone mode just so you can see. Now everything, like I said, total work in progress. The main menu will completely change. I mean completely change. And it's single player, goes right in, and yay, much rejoicing. Go back to the main menu. The character selection menu is new, and I'll come up with a way of making it to where it's mandatory, so that you have to go through this process. So again, this is just temporary. When you click on character, this window pops up. Click on it again, it goes away. But you've got drop-down boxes. You pick your gender, and I hate to tell you, but there's only two, male or female. Just pick whichever one you most associate with or wish to use. Skins. Whenever you're working with this one, male or female, from this asset pack, there is only 4 skins. Yes, he said 4 skin. 4 skins. Mind none of the gutter people here. So, like, now I will also see if I can come up with a way of left clicking and dragging and moving your character around a little bit so you can see from different angles. But this was just a good start. So I pick male, pick skin 1, 2, 3, or 4. Let's go with skin 3. Do we want our guy to have hair? Female hair? He looks sexy, right? Got a ponytail even. Let's go with the male hair. You want a beard? Okay, you can select the beard. What about no beard? Yeah, let's go with no beard. Hat, you've got the brown fedora. Looks weird because of the camera angle there. Tan fedora. A pith hat. I said pith, not pith. Or no hat. So let's go with the pith hat. And now whenever you hit to go into the game, it totally doesn't work. So, and that's what it's supposed to do, right? Oh, yeah, there goes, the hair just caught up. Alright, let's go back to the main menu and exit. But for some reason, whenever I go in here and I play it from New Pie, we got our dude. Let's go male, skin 3, hair, and pith hat, single player, and it's completely broken. Alright, so that's where I kind of stopped earlier. One of the things I have started doing is these guys I no longer use. I created the skins. There's 4 different skins you can choose from, so I've named them Explorer 1, Explorer 2, Explorer 3, because they're associated with the Explorer character. And for now, once you have the Explorer character, and that's the only asset pack that's in here, That's your choices here. And it pulls references into no hat, no static mesh, or with or without a hat, and I will finish refining that as I go. Oh, excuse the hell out of me. So again, static mesh is for the hats, and then for the player mesh, since there's only two, male and female, that's what we have. Okay, so, and I showed the other day on the render targets, and I'll set that up. Save game. Currently, we've got all this stuff set up in a save game for the skeletal mesh, the skin to use, all this, and they're defaulted to none, so there is no default whatsoever. And I could probably set up a default, but I haven't decided if I'm going to yet. And then inside of the main menu, you can see you've got this menu here. You've got, yeah. And here's my save game stuff that I actually have to sort through, figure out what I'm going to do with it. I'll show you in just a second. Just settle down. Settle down there, babies. Alright, we click on the character. For right now, I'm told to do a save game check here. I'm going to have to juggle this around and juggle this around. So what I wanted to do, whenever you first go in here, when you first load in the menu, I wanted to do a save game check and to see if save game exists. If it does, I want it to load game from slot. If it does not, I probably should run this from here and go to there. Now this is not all the stuff in the save game. There's going to be health and there's money stuff there too, but this is the main stuff that's going in here. And what I've done is, for example, setting the gender. With those drop down boxes the way that I've got here, whenever you select it, you have the option of male or female, and leaving it blank, which just says gender, so that it would have something written right there as a default for you to see, okay, this is where I go to change that. I could probably go ahead and just get rid of this first slot and just keep it I'm here and not in the mood for goofiness tonight, okay? So with the option here, selected option being this, I created this generic one right here, which is just a nothing, which what I probably ought to do is remove this one and leave it to either male or female. In this case, you know, default it to male, and then put male here as well. So instead of saying gender, it'll just say male, and it will actually use that as a default. So I'll probably go back and change that. And then same thing for picking the skin. If you don't pick one, then it should default to skin 1, and I should get rid of pick skin here and here. Same thing with the hair. Just if you don't pick one, it's none. Same thing for hats. If you don't pick one, you don't get one. Same thing for beards. If you don't pick one, you don't get one. So with these items right here, with these 3 items, I'll talk about that in a later video. I've already mentioned how I am in the first part of the video. So these 3 options right here, I will probably go ahead and kick back this and this, get rid of those, change this to no beard as the default. So no beard would go across there. Well, let's get back into the actual of what I did. So on change, whenever you actually have the beard selector or gender selector, we'll say, you click right here, and on selection changed, selected item is a string. So what I did was I pulled out the string and said equal equal, and you know, it was just this right here, equal equal string, and right there all I did was inside this box I entered in the female. So if I chose female, And I put these in here because I was going to do the hair thing, but I just haven't implemented it yet. So I can actually dump those out. They're not currently being used. So what's happening here is if it is equal to female, if the selected item is equal to female, then true, you're getting a reference to your character here. In this case, I'm actually using the UI character, which is the one that I created just specifically for this menu. It's not your actual player character. And the reason why I did that was I wanted to build in a layer in between the menu, the actual what you're doing in the menu here, and your player itself, so it's forcing a save game. So I can actually see I had a method to my madness. Doesn't seem as clear now, but you know, it works, or was working until I broke it again. So I cast it to my UI player and get player character, get a reference to the mesh, and I set skeletal mesh. And the skeletal mesh that I'm using comes from the data files, which was the structure. And this particular one here is gender, or player mesh. So if it's the male explorer, use this one. If it's the female explorer, use that one. So I did that so that if I add another asset pack in, and I've got 12 more characters that are male, I could add them in here or whatever else. So I'll have all of my meshes, player meshes, in this one folder, or this one structure. And I can call them back by creating a variable over here that is a direct reference to that data table. And you can see male explorer, female explorer here. Those are actual skeletal mesh references. So now I can plug this in here to the new mesh to use, since this, the selected item, is equal to female. If that's true, then you set your skeletal mesh of your UI player to be the female explorer. I also created a reference, a skeletal mesh reference here, so that I can use this for the save game portion of it, this for the display in the menu of what your character is going to look like on the fly. So if you're not female, then you are male. This being the case, now you're going to follow along in this. If there are more, then I would add in another branch and go from false. We'll go directly into the entrance of the branch node and go right into the new one. Which you'll see how I did that here. When you're trying to pick the skin, on selection changed, if it's equal to pick skin, or you did not change one, then it will default to a Explorer 1 reference here, which is this right here. But if you actually check Explorer 1, then it will still do the same thing. These two are going to do the same exact thing, whether you picked something or not. It'll default to Explorer 1, and if you did pick Explorer 1, it'll go ahead and pick it there. That's a lot of spaghetti. Don't let that confuse you. But I came out of the faults from this branch and go directly into the next branch. Was it equal to skin 1? If yes, use skin 1. If it's equal to skin 2, then use skin 2, or 3, or 4. So that's how I did that. And what I'll probably, like I said, what I'll probably end up doing is disposing of this one completely and getting rid of the unchecked one. So you'll still just have a default. So at the very end, it'll still have one like this at the end, but it'll be down here after faults. It'll just go into set the material and set the skin reference. So I did that for all of them. I said I had this working, and then I did something and changed it, and it broke again. So hey, you know, if it ain't broke, keep fixing it until it is. So pick hair, pick beard, pick hats, all that's right there. And then On the save game check, does save game exist? Save slot is, instead of typing it in every time, I went ahead and put my save game slot right there as a variable so that I can just plug that in every time. So does save game exist? True, then load game from slot. Cast to the save game, which is bbg_sg for save game. Get a reference to your skeletal mesh, sg skeletal mesh, or save game skeletal mesh. So you know that if it's got SG next to the name, it's the save game variable. So you don't have everything named exactly alike. So what you're doing is you're forcing this to be this, this to be this, and this to be this, and this to be this. But on commit, save to save game. And this is where you're actually committing to the save game itself. And what I've got is create save game object. Save game class is going to be the save game class here. And then I create a save game reference. In theory, you would think you should be able to plug that directly into there and get rid of that. And I don't know if that's where I broke things by adding that one back in and not really needing a save game reference here. I'll go back over it, like I said, and try to fix everything. But I want to get the menu functional and changing everything correctly in the menu, and then get it to work with the save game, and then save game completely working. Alright, so what I've told it to do here is whenever I tell it to open the level in multiplayer and go in, I want to save to save game. Same thing on single player. Whenever I start playing single player, I do all this stuff right here, and shouldn't need that there, but save to save game. And what I probably actually need to do is move that in here. So do that first. Save to save game here, so I can save to the save game before I open the new level. So I don't know, it's just a matter of holding your mouth the right damn way. So we'll do it in new editor window, get us some new pie. So this is our default male. Skin 1 should be our default. No hair, no hats, no beards. And if I go to single player, it didn't change my gender. So I still have the female hair. Weird on the guy though. Why did it not change my gender? And I think that's partly to do because of the way that I've got this thing set up. So I'm actually going to go back, like I said, with the gender selector. Yellow. Let's delete that one and leave male as the selected option. So now when I hit compile and save, it'll change that to say male, and then I go back into my graph. Und then, okay, female, okay, that's good. Because I didn't have anything else there. So let's go to character, male default, skin 1, and nothing else. And it's still going to female. Well, I guess there's one way to show you exactly how I got this thing to work. And let's actually just drag this down here, and we will do equal equal and male. So I don't need to delete this, but I'm gonna anyway. And you know what? I'm just gonna delete all this just so you can see what's going on. Alright, so getting started with this for setting up the gender with that drop down box. The drop down box only has two options, either male or female, and by default the option is set to male as default. So what I'll do here is I will first off come from here and we will cast to our UI player and get player character. And we'll grab this guy. So to make everything kind of neat here. And then we'll run a branch node here. Oh, asshole, will you connect? Thank you. Alright, so if our selection is male, true, then what we want to do here is get a reference to our mesh. And then we want to set skeletal mesh. From there, what I want to do is I want to go ahead and get my skeletal mesh reference. We're going to set that, but we also want to get our player mesh. And this is our data table, or our structure. And we're going to break that. And there we go. So, let's actually drag you to here and you to here. Because we're a male explorer, we're going to go directly into that. And we can take this guy, our skeletal mesh reference, and we're going to plug in the same tail right there. So they're both being changed to that male skeletal mesh. However, if it was female, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab these and just chuck it in there. And we're going to grab this from the upper branch, bring it directly into here. And the mesh needs to go to here. And female explorer needs to go to here. And here. And this needs to go to here. Compost and save. So that should take care of it. It should run it to where no matter what you have selected, if you don't select anything, male is already there in that number 1 slot and it is the default. So it will default to male. So let's take a peek. Alright, still defaulting to male. Let's go to female instead. Let's give her the male hair. Let's give her a beard. And no beard. Okay. So whenever we actually hit single player, it's going to save game to slot at that point. And it is the wrong clothing, but it's the right hair. So we gave her the male hair. So let's hit escape. Play it again. Character. Female. Let's pick the orange shirt and a man's hair and no hat. There we go. So now go back in here and let's actually play it in standalone game. Let's see what it looked like. Yes, this is a driving game, and I'm spending all this time working on character selection for a person and not the actual vehicle. Because you need to be able to create your character. And what I want to happen, as soon as you open the game up completely, if you've already created your character, then I want you to be able to, I don't know why it's not saving everything correctly, but whenever you first create your character, you could have a little version of your avatar here or whatever else. So you go to character and then select, okay, I want to be female, I want the blue jacket, and I want a beard, and I want the girl hair, no hats. Go to single player, and that's what we got. Our beard, blue shirt, and girly hair. Although it did change colors on us, on our hair. Alright, so we went back to the main menu. Went back into single player. What's happening is, hey look, I've got nothing. I have no character mesh whatsoever. So it's not physically committing it to the save game. But I go back in here into character and I don't change anything. It's male. And I go to skin 3 with a beard and a, let's go with the pith hat. It completely lost the mesh. Alright, well, let's look at the leave it to me to take something that works good and break it. Alright, on begin play, startup stuff right here, setting up your widgets, your blueprint or whatever for your player HUD, setting your game modes or input mode, and load save game. Bang. In load save game, I've got does save game exist? If yes, then load game from slot. It should exist. You should not be able to get this far without it not working. But yet it's still fucking broken. So yeah, we're not getting an error. So it's not that I saw of, at least. I'm gonna load the save game from slot. I have this save game reference. I'm not sure if I need that or not. Load save game from slot. Yeah, so I don't know if I need that or not. And it's getting all this information here. It's casting to the save game. And it is getting the correct information. It's getting the skeletal mesh, and it's setting the skeletal mesh to that. Same thing for your skin. It's setting your skin, which is the material, in element 1, or element 0, excuse me. And then the hat, if there is one, it gets it from here. If there's any hair, it gets it from here. If there's any facial hair, it gets it from here. It loads your health, and your currencies, bank account, cash, and your crypto coins, your premium currency. But also had to save the game. So how do we make sure we save it? Save game to slot, and then does all that, and I got save game reference right there, which I needed. Because I don't think it would let me go from here to there. Well, it didn't give me an error on that, so we'll let that ride. But when we hit the escape menu, like we want to go back to the main menu, is where I told it to save the game. So you hit escape, changing your inputs, is that to your viewport, blah, 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 and then bang, save the game. Because when you hit that escape key, it goes to a widget. And this happens, and I should probably, again, just for the sake of it, let's put it in right here. Before we do anything and move off into a widget, let's force it to go ahead and save the game. I've read probably about 15 different versions of this thing. If I go in here now, I got nothing. I got no default mesh. I don't have anything. Go into character. I'm not going to change anything, and then click on single player, and I still have nothing. Let's make a physical change here. This is what it should default to. Skin 1, no hair, no beard, no hats, and male. Yay, I broke it even worse. So let's go back into character, let's change it to female. But it goes to that skin. It should go to this skin. And no hair, no hats, no beard. Yeah, okay. Go back to the main menu, go back into single player again, and I have broke it even worse. This is why I've been taking time off from all this, is because of trying to get my focus back, and I'm just unable to get simple shit to work right now. When I click on the single player button to do this, bang, save to save game, and then open level, and then do all that stuff. I guess this really isn't that big of a deal because, you know, you just need to open level. And then whatever it saves the game, open save game slot, and I think by getting rid of my save game reference, let's connect that to there, this back to here as a save game object, and do that. And maybe I'm just missing something on save game check here as well. Does save game exist? True, then do this. And I think what I need to do is go back down through the rest of those and save those defaults. Because in the player, everything should be good. Save the game, and save the game is actually create save game object in my save game, and it's saving all of this data here, my health, my currencies, my current transform, because I'm actually on a map, and then it should be saving here my hat, hair, facial hair, and all to the save game slot. So on this one, in the create save game object, I actually went through and removed my save game reference here. And that's where I broke even more, so let's throw his ass back in here. Alright. Well, then I definitely need to come back over here and go through hair, get rid of the pick hair option, beard, and hat as well. So come in here. Technically speaking, no matter what, we should have a default in. Whenever I do this, I should have something, and I don't have anything. So let's actually go into the save game and set some defaults. And just quit screwing around. Explorer male, and skin is going to default to Explorer 1. I'm not setting anything for the defaults on those. So in theory, even if we just skip past the whole character creation thing, which I'm going to make it mandatory. When you first create it, it needs to check to see if the save game exists, and then, you know, force you into the character creation. See, there's still nothing. Go back to the main menu and go to character, and then, and there you go. What I may end up having to do here is, since I've already had multiple saves and so forth, go into my Unreal projects. This one is called Driven, and for shits and grins, let's close everything down. And save all, close you, and delete the saved folder, and then go back into it. In fact, I'll delete the saved and the intermediate folders, because, well, actually we can just go right here and get save games, and there it is right there. So we can technically either just delete this, and then open the project back up again. Alright, so let's try that. I'm going to play game. It should create a new save game for me. So I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to pick a character. I'm just a stupid gamer. I'm going to go right in here and I'm going to play my game. Yay, it's broke. Oh, excuse me. So now I go here, and this is all here. So what I'm going to have to do is just, and what I want to do anyway is make this to where this comes up first. Bang. And I can either have a button here that a manual save, which that might be an option also. But I just went to the character screen, and there's the information, and then bang. And now it works. So when we actually, and that was the thing, is whenever you hit to go to single player, come right over here and single player button, bam. When I hit that single player button, I want to save to save game. It should just go. I mean, and that should have worked. Because we have our default, which is male, And I will change this one so that it defaults into the correct skin. Yeah, I think what I'll end up doing is... Oh, where the hell's my character? Where the hell's my character? Why did my shit stop working? Okay, there it is. Settle down, Cletus. Female. And it didn't go to skin 1. So... Huh. Alright, she's there. So I think that's the first thing I'm going to do is get rid of this and this. And get rid of that whole pick skin thing. So pretty much set a default in the design of the button. Alright, compose and save, and we want the pick skin. We're going to delete, and we're going to make this to be skin 1. Let's compile and save. So now male and skin 1 is our default. Now look, that is the character we just selected. So it's that information is there in the save game where it should be. Okay, well let's see what happens now. Go to character, male, skin 1. That's good. I'm not going to pick anything. I'm just going to hit single player, and it didn't change it. Why did it not change it? When I click on single player or multiplayer, it says save to save game. Yeah. Because with this screen here, I mean, shits and giggles. Whenever I hit that character, for right now, I'm just gonna see. I'm running save game check on there. Shits and grins. I'm gonna put save to save game here. When you click on that character button, it needs to save no matter what. Alright, so I want it to actually check right there. So whenever we actually first come in here, I want it to probably make it go ahead and default to this. And then no matter what, see, it's just not defaulting to anything. You can't run event begin play on a widget, but you can in the map. Sorry, multiple things going on at once here. Blueprints, open level blueprint. And this is the thing, when you first come into the main menu, this is in here so that, yeah, it's necessary. Destroy session. In other words, if you're playing and you're the host, you go back to the main menu, you're kicking everybody else out. And if that's not in here, then everybody else would shit up. They can no longer do anything multiplayer. They have to exit the game and rejoin the game. So, at this point, in the main menu level, on event begin play, what I'm probably going to have to do is create this save game check. Because these are the primaries. But, no, can't do it that way. Well, hell, I'll figure it out. But as we see, if we come in here and if we start here, select this, male, skin, hair, hats, I still got to go back in there and, like, say if you decide you want the female hair and pith hat, you go into the game. I got something broke on the first one. As you can see, the hair comes through the back of the hat. I have totally broken my skeletal mesh reference. Cleaning it up, I've broken it somehow. Casting to my player, get a reference to my mesh, set my skeletal mesh to male explorer. I have totally broken that, and inside of the game mode, you got the explorer male with skin 1 is set as a default for these variables. So if you look at your skeletal mesh here and your skin, those are already there. But yeah, I took something that was totally working and completely fucking broke it. So I'll go back through it, and I'm going to be doing a Q&A session later. And I'm not sure why someone is just coming into my Discord and just putting in their stuff. Maybe it's me, but shouldn't you ask prior to linking someone else's Discord? Maybe it's just me, but you go to somebody else's Discord channel and you never talk, you never do anything, and one of the only things I ever see you do is just link your own personal game and your own videos. Think that's pretty fucking rude. Whether it's good shit or not, I don't give a fuck. It's my damn Discord channel. You should ask. It's called courtesy. Alright, I'm going to get off my soapbox, and I'll do a Q&A session later, and I'll figure out what the hell I did wrong here. Skeletal mesh reference, skeletal mesh reference. Yeah. Alright, well, I'll check in with you guys later.